Well, good evening. It's Longhaultanker, and I am coming to you tonight from the Love's Truck Stop at Sonora, Texas, out in the middle of the Great Desert, headed toward Bakersfield, California. And it is Thursday the 16th at approximately 10 minutes after 9 p.m. And we're going to do a shave, a straight razor shave. Today was a good day. Everything went right for the first day. I don't dare look forward. Look forward, project out. It's going to be a good day tomorrow. I don't know yet. But we have every prospect of it being a good day. I'm going to a plant in Bakersfield, chemical plant, that I've never been to before. So we'll see how that goes. The planners, the dispatch manager gave me an extra day, or 2/3 of the day, to get there, with delivery on Monday at 11. And I just might get a backhaul out of San Diego, which I'm hoping for. Let's go over the equipment for tonight. You've seen me use this razor. I used it last week after I honed it up on the Arkansas surgical black. This is the C-MON. Yeah, C-MON. It's a 5/8 razor. It's hand forged. It's got beautiful scales on it with bolsters. I just love those scales on it. It's a very thin razor too. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before. It's very thin, almost as thin as a Philharmonica. And after I used it the last time that I recorded, I did go back to the Arkansas and put another hour or so sitting there watching TV. Oh, my soap for tonight is the same one I used yesterday. It just happened to come up in rotation. It's the Vanderhagen Luxury Shave Soap. And I find this to be a very adequate, satisfactory soap. It's got a pleasant smell. It lathers up it quite well. You may remember the video from just yesterday morning. I've got approximately 30 to 32 hours, well, not 32, maybe 32 hours. And my my brush for tonight, beautiful, I don't know the name of the wood, I don't know what the name of the stone is, sitting atop. It was made by Elite Razor. And I ordered the knot and I ordered the handle separately, and I set the knot myself. And if I had it to do over again, I would set that knot a little higher. I got it a little bit low. I used regular epoxy to set it. And when I say regular epoxy as opposed to marine epoxy, I read somewhere you don't need the marine. That's really for an underwater, and for the amount of time that our brushes remain underwater, a marine epoxy is not necessary. And so far, I have found that to be true. Now, ask me in 10 years, I may have a different story. I owe my viewers an apology. I said I was going to do lay out my Arkansas stones and do a side-by-side comparison and commentary on the True Hard family of stones, the True Hard, the surgical black, or known as the hard black, and the translucent. After I got done with my shave yesterday morning, there were some other things. She who must be obeyed. You know, my wife thinks I'm crazy going after all this stuff, the stones, the razors. She doesn't. I mean, she understands it a little bit, but going off the deep end, and which I did. So what? Do I buy a new razor or buy a new gun? I know that's a hard choice for some people. And so I apologize I didn't get around to that, but I will be doing it soon. It's on my top list of things to do and get it on the website. Let me take a moment here to say, if you're not a member of the Shaving Cadre, if you're not over there looking at their forum and participating and subscribing, you should. It's a good forum, very pleasant. I have received a very warm welcome over there. I've been lurking over there for quite some. I created an account some time ago and just was lurking from time to time, and one of the guys saw one of my YouTube videos and he said, "You ought to go over there." So I did, and that's where I've been hanging out when I have the time. I will say I've been remiss, I say remiss, not for a lack of desire, to participate more. You know, you want to participate, but the demands of driving a truck, 18-wheeler truck, are, you know, late at night, like I said, it's 9:15, 9:20. Here we go. So I've got somewhere between 30 and 32 hours worth of growth. I finished my shave yesterday. I remember, it may have been a little earlier than what I'm about to say, but I remember walking out of the bedroom into the living room, and my wife was working at the kitchen table, and I looked over the clock and it was 2 o'clock. And I started at around 11:30, and that includes a full shower and everything. Had a nice hot shower tonight. The water is delightfully hot here. So I'm going to say that extra hour that I spent on the hard black or surgical black after the last video that I did with this razor was well worth it. Well worth it. This thing is just popping. So I got into the truck stop tonight. And it was like 7:55 when I pulled in. And frankly, I didn't expect to find an available parking space, but there were several open, and I parked. I had my backup. Yeah, our company policy is to, when we go into the truck stop to park at night, is that we have to park in a designated truck parking place. That's company policy. Well, they're not always available. If you know anything about trucking, you know that the availability of parking for truck parking around the country is a national disgrace. And so that's why you see a lot of trucks. Have you ever driven by a rest area late at night and you see all the trucks that are lined up going way back, going into the rest area and way out, coming out of the rest area? It's because there's nowhere else to go. And when your hours are up, you got to be stopped. Call your congressman and tell them to provide, and your state, it's in the national interest. I mean, that's just obvious, but nobody pays any attention to it, so. But nonetheless, I found a spot. Of course, I'm out in the middle of the desert, but there's not many from San Antonio, Texas, or Comfort, Texas, to Fort Stockton along I-10. There's just not that many truck stops to handle the volume of traffic. I used to call Love's customer service from Comfort, Texas to Fort Stockton is 4.5 hours with no Love's truck stop in between. And I used to call and complain. I said, that's one of the longest stretches in the United States, was one of the longest stretches in the United States without a Love's truck stop. 4.5 hours. I called and said, that's unacceptable. I said, you need to build something halfway between Comfort and Fort Stockton. They eventually took my advice and built the one here in Sonora. And I called them and thanked them, and they said they're going to put a plaque up in my honor. Not. And I'll tell you something else. It was a great delight to my eyes Because here's another, it used to be the case, I say used to be, past tense, that the Love's Truck Stop in Cheyenne, Wyoming was the last Love's Truck Stop from Cheyenne to Calgary. That's 2 days. Then about, I don't know, 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, hadn't been that long, but 4 or 5 years ago, they built the Love's Truck Stop at Hardin, Montana, about 40 miles to the southeast, yes, of Billings, Montana. And I called and complained about that. You need to have something north of Cheyenne. It's unacceptable. 2 days to Calgary from Cheyenne. And so they built that about 4 or 5 years ago. And then when I was in Great Falls, Montana, usually I'd go from Cheyenne, anyway, I'd eventually end up for the day or the next day at Great Falls, Montana at a Flying J. And I didn't see it the night that I drove in. I drove in to Great Falls, parked for the night. The next day I got up to drive on to Calgary, and across the freeway on the other side, they had just begun constructing a new Love's at Great Falls. Now that means I can buy diesel, have all my amenities, showers and so forth, all the way from Houston to Calgary. I'll fill up my diesel in Great Falls, go make my delivery in Calgary. And I just saw this week or last week on one of the electronic truck driving magazines that I get in my email that Love's in Great Falls is now open. I haven't been back up that way for some weeks. But when I do get a load to go into Calgary or Edmonton or Blackie, Alberta, I'll be sure to stop at that Love's in Great Falls, Montana, get all my diesel. You don't know what that means to a driver on the road. To have a place that you're familiar with, that you have a rewards program with, come into their shower room without having to pay for it, which I never do. I won't pay for a shower. How many of you businessmen out there go on a business trip and don't have your business expenses covered? Either use your credit card and they reimburse you, or they issue you a corporate credit card. Of course, nobody would ever question that. Now for a truck driver, an owner-operator, or a lease contract, they can write that stuff off on taxes because they are their own small business, right? A company driver has almost no. That's so rich and creamy. Look how creamy that is. That's wonderful. Oh, that's just wonderful. Just wonderful. I did get word yesterday, and I may have told you this already, that I got notification from C-MON brushes in Great Britain that they have shipped my my C-MON Chubby 3 Manchurian Badger. Say it with me now, Manchurian Badger. Yep, say it with me. I think I told you that I opted for their faux horn color of handle on the Manchurian. I had originally selected the butterscotch only because that's what appeared to be available on their website. Of the few that they had, I think they had like 3 or 4 choices. And so they wrote me back and said, "We're sorry, that's not available. Why is it on your website?" And when I got the notification that it was unavailable, the lady, and she was sweet and kind, you know, in the email that is, and I didn't detect any note of anything other than just customer service. It was, you know, polite, courteous. And she gave me this long list of colors that were available that weren't on their website. But as soon as I saw a horn, that really was for a long time. Because I've been looking at this most of the year, or at least the last 6 months, we'll say. And that really was my first choice. The the horn color, imitation horn. And so I got it. Hallelujah. Wonderful. How many times? I have looked at the Plasan. I don't know much about the Plasan Manchurian badgers. I understand they're expensive too. I've got the camera mounted on the mirror below center. And I can see right over the camera and see my face adequately. I don't have a lot to talk about tonight. I'd have more. I didn't get a chance to spend much time with the forum last night. It was my last night home, and I always like to spend time with my wife. And I hope you married men enjoy your wife's company and do things together and talk and laugh and do those things that make you happy together. We've been married for 13 and a half years, and let's see. So for about 9 of those years, I've been on the road, and my wife has always been immediately available to me on the phone when I call her. She talks to me when I may be feeling a little drowsy, which happens from time to time. I mean, you're sitting behind the wheel and watching the hypnotic rhythm of the road. And it happens, even to the best of us. And so you call somebody, your wife, your truck driving buddies. Hey, I got the heavy eye, talk to me. And they do. They know what you're talking about because they get it too. There is something to keep everybody who's interested in straight razor shaving and its accessories interested. Now, I've said several times that I don't dabble much. Have I sanded a couple of razors by hand? Yes, I have. Do I have an idea based upon the 2, 3, razors that I've dealt with? Do I have an idea about it? Yeah, a little bit, you know. No, I love honing razors though. I could sit and hone all day long, you know, as long as my hands held up. I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm stroking the razor, but you may notice that on some of the strokes, I'm using a little forward push, a little forward English on it to try and bring the blade this way. Let me show you. What's the toe of the razor is I'm gonna push it this way. Now I didn't do it on every stroke there, but it just feels great. Tomorrow I'll drive down the road and listen to my programs, just hands all over my face. The soap is holding up pretty well. It's getting a little bit thin, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. Still nice and creamy. I think it's got a good hydration mix. I never have any problem. I don't use a cloth. I don't have to use alum on my hands to stretch my face. And you know, why is that? Is my soap not wet enough? Is my face not hydrated enough? Or is something unique about my skin texture? I don't know. I don't know. And this soap's got a pleasant enough scent to it. It's not going to repulse you by any means. Like that stuff that smells like wax that I was telling you about yesterday. I've got another mint treat coming up for you the next time we get together, whether that's tomorrow or whether that's day after tomorrow. A mint treat. Should I give you a hint? Should I give you a clue? If I give you a clue, you're going to get it. I'm going to give you something that's too easy. I could give you the name of the manufacturer, but that's going to be too easy. I could give you the name of an animal that it's named after. Oh, that's good right there. I don't have to say anything more than that. Now, if you can figure out or want to take a shot at a guess, drop it in the comments. For my friends over at the shavingcadre.com, drop it in the comment section. What my mint razor will be. Oh, that's just, you know. Marvelous, just marvelous. That was a terrible Billy Crystal imitation. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Who does that? Somebody says it's terrible. It's just terrible. At about 3 o'clock to 3:30 this afternoon, I hit San Antonio, and it took nearly an hour and a half to get around and through San Antonio. That's just crazy. And that right there is why a 5/8, I like this 5/8. I had perfect control on that razor going up. Now, having said that, I still like the bigger razors just fine. I've always said, get whatever size you want to and just learn to use it. Oh yeah, very nice. Oh yeah, that feels so good. That feels great. We're about done here. Just got a little bit left to go. Well, let's rinse it off and do our little touch up, and we will be done. I will be doing a head shave after the face shave off camera. run me a new hot bowl of water here. There we go. Yeah, got a good line on that, didn't I? I got that a little close. But all in all, I would say that is a good shave. Oh yeah, I did something. That was a different kind of stroke for me. And I got what I wanted to get. Okay. So we used the Vanderhagen soap. We used the C-MON 5/8 hand-forged, beautiful razor. And we used the Elite Razor shave brush with a, I believe it was a 26 millimeter high mountain white. And so we're very pleased with that as well. So I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to proceed on with my head shave, and we'll have it posted up later tonight. You have a good day, good evening. See you later. Down the road, maybe, sure, bye.